Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's National Dentist Day. Tony, do you like going to the dentist?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. No, I don't. I prefer doing the drilling. The city is now telling me I need a license after all these years.
That?
I don't understand it.
Well, you know I don't dare say a bad word about dentists, as you know.
No, because your whole family, you married into a family of dentists.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
That's right.
I like my dentist. I mean, I'm
Love
good
my
with
dentist.
dentists. I wasn't
Dr.
as a
Benjamin.
kid, but I'm
Dr. Benjamin.
I'm
Love
good with it now. Yeah. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, North Carolina calls itself the 33rd NFL team. The Mariners take heat for not adding hitters, and two big results last night in the SEC. But we begin today with criticism of the Dallas Mavericks for playing Kyrie Irving the most minutes in the NBA since his general manager traded away Luka Doncic. Irving was averaging 39.3 minutes per game, and the critics suggest that's what led to Irving's torn ACL. Dallas coach Jason Kidd said, quote, "We're talking about one play, not many before that. We can't talk from both sides and say our stars don't play enough minutes, they rest. But now we're saying they play too much," unquote. Wilbon, is it fair to wonder if Kyrie's playing time contributed to this injury?
No, it annoys me and it's stupid to wonder. And Tony, I heard this a few days ago, before Jason Kidd talked about it publicly. And then let me just admit that Jason Kidd is one of those people that I have found myself agreeing with overwhelmingly on all issues in basketball and sport for the last 25 years. I love Jason Kidd, as you know. Yes.
I know.
He is so right on this, Tony. And I was screaming the response, screaming with fingers in text chains, to say, what are you talking about? All people talk about, all they're upset about is the NBA players not playing enough, stars not playing enough, stars no longer playing 40 minutes a game like they used to. And now Kyrie Irving goes about 38, 39 minutes a game, without Doncic there, and he gets an injury. And I feel it's awful. I mean, Kyrie Irving was playing so great. And to me, I know he won a championship with LeBron, I get it, but to me, he was playing the best of his career. And people want to say because he was playing, 3-4 extra minutes a game, that this caused the injury. I don't want to hear this. And stop the talking out of both sides of one's mouth. Please stop, please.
Yeah. So I do think it is fair to ask if the amount of minutes contributed to the injury. I reject it personally. But I think it's fair. But I would say this. Joel Embiid plays 8 minutes and he gets hurt.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard plays 5 minutes and he gets hurt. Wilt Chamberlain went 48 every single game, had one serious injury in his life, patella injury, came back the next year, played 82 games. LeBron James has led the league in minutes 3 different times, has never torn his ACL. So I don't see a specific connection. And like you, I find myself agreeing with Jason Kidd. And I think we have to look at the heart of this. There are many stars in the NBA, so-called stars, who like to get time off. Load management is about stars who want, not about scrubs, about stars who want to take time off, and also teams that in order to protect those stars, give them time off. This is not dissimilar to starting pitching in baseball. It's not. In baseball, if you go 5, manager comes out, takes you out. In basketball, if you got a back-to-back, they say, you don't have to play. You don't have to play both sides. So I agree with Jason Kidd on the heart of this issue. And I also think, and I've certainly blamed Nico Harrison for a lot of things, but I'm not going to blame him for this. I don't think you can tie it into minutes, and I don't think you can tie it into the Doncic trade. I think that's unfair.
No, Tony, if everybody was gonna get hurt because a star wasn't in the lineup, then Maxey would just be in a permanent hospital bed because Joel Embiid is not even out there. Maxey is one of the leaders in the league in minutes played. That just nonsense. Bill Belichick's first spring practices with North Carolina are underway. Players are wearing numberless jerseys, something Belichick had the Patriots do back when they were winning Super Bowls. In fact, Team GM Mike Lombardi is billing the Tar Heels as the, quote, NFL's 33rd team, close quote. Tone, what are the upsides and the downsides of this?
The upside is recruiting. You identify a player who wants to go to the NFL and you are able to say to him, we were in the NFL, we know the NFL, we coached in the NFL, we won in the NFL. You come with us, we'll get you to the NFL. Play at North Carolina, then play in the NFL. That's very hard to resist to me. And plus, this is Bill Belichick, who has won 6 Super Bowls. How many has the guy at Wake won? How many has the guy at Pitt won? What about the guy at NC State? I don't think they've won 6. It's just a guess on my part. The downside, Mike, is this. You better win 10 games this year. You can't go 4-8 and lose to Georgia Tech. You're going to be laughed out of town. There is no grace period for Belichick. There is no transition period for Belichick. You got to come loaded to go right now, because even Nick Saban never called himself the 33rd NFL team.
Well, Tony, I completely agree with you. There are no downsides right now because you're gathering, you're building, you're amassing. Everywhere you go, people want to be associated with you. I mean, I know what a storm there is in high schools across America, and one particular one in Washington, D.C., that I pay tuition to. When Bill Belichick has come to recruit one of the young men there, or more than one, Tony,
I saw the picture.
It's all good. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's results-based. It's results-based. You are so right. That if Belichick comes in, man, if he goes 11-2, I mean, everybody's going to be so jealous. They're going to be angry. They'll be saying, oh, Belichick did this, Belichick did that. When all he did, if you can't trade in on your, as they used to say, jewelry that you're wearing on your fingers, your ring, then what else are you going to trade in? So Belichick has every right to do this. He's earned it. Now, Tony, if he goes as little as 7-6, people will be saying,
they made the wrong move.
Not good enough.
No, I agree with that. So Belichick opened his practice yesterday to the media, and he talked with people. And in New England, if he did that, he did it through clenched teeth. He only did 16 minutes, and his predecessor, Mac Brown, would have done 60, but he was out there, and I found it amazing. You know why he's out there, Mike? Because he's selling. He hasn't had to sell his whole life. He's selling now. That's how it works. We move now to baseball, and the Seattle Mariners taking a pass on free agency. Seattle had the best starting pitching rotation in baseball last year, but spent no money acquiring hitting in free agency. This confounded Justin Turner, who played in Seattle last year and wanted to return but got no offer. Turner told Bob Nightingale of USA Today, quote, the fact that they missed the playoffs by 1 game and didn't go out and add an impact bat or two when you've got the best pitching staff in baseball just seems absurd to me, unquote. Wilbon, does it seem absurd to you as well?
Tony, it doesn't seem absurd. I'm curious about it. And I understand Justin Turner. He is seeing this while he's played on several teams and now he's on my team. He's seeing this through the lens of a Dodger. And the lens of a Dodger means you look around and they're very rose-colored because you think everybody has as much money as your franchise has.
100%.
And that's not the case. It's just not the case. So I get that. And but I'm with him on this, Tony. I'm curious as to where the balance is and how many teams have it. And, I said to you yesterday, because I was complimenting Mark Walter, who I do know, the primary owner of the Dodgers, because not only does he have a gazillion dollars, he's ambitious and he wants to win. And most of all, even being right there with being smart and ambitious, is he's smart as hell. And he knows how to apply it. He knows who to hire. And the Dodgers have done this now successfully. I don't know that the other teams are that ambitious or that smart. And the Mariners are in the middle of the pack, so I don't want to call it absurd.
So when I first heard about this story, I was going to pounce on Seattle. And I was going to talk again about having a salary cap where the most important thing to me is a floor. That you have to spend a minimum amount of money in order to go get talent. But then I found out that Seattle is 16th in payroll this year. Like 16 out of 30. That's right in the middle. They're spending $157 million, which is more than the team I love in Washington, the Nationals, more than Milwaukee, which is a division winner, more than Cincinnati, a great baseball town. So I backed off. And to emphasize your point that you made, Justin Turner has played for the Dodgers, richest team out there. He's played for the Red Sox, a rich team, Toronto, a rich team, and now the Cubs, a rich team. So he's never had to contend with an organization that was counting pennies. But I agree with him in this sense. That's a great starting rotation, Mike. 5 guys started 149 games out of 162,
like
which never happens.
Huh?
340
like the old
ERA
days right
and the lowest opponent batting average in the entire league. So, and that's a winnable division, Mike. The A's aren't good. The Angels aren't good. Houston isn't what it was, and Texas may have been a one-year wonder. So I agree with him in principle. Let's take a break. Coming up, did Ole Miss or Florida pull off the bigger win last night in the SEC?
And which was more impressive last night? James Harden scoring 50 or 2 Celtics each going for 40. There's a shocker. There's one shocker.
He has only played for rich teams.
Yeah.
He's never had to worry. They were going to get people after the deadline. Bring them up. For toss-up, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, finishes the show, then spends the evening obsessively talking to friends and family about the weather. And I do that with the Capital Weather Gang, and it's windy tonight, and I'm nervous.
Nice job
What's
out of
first?
them.
Toss-up, bigger win in the SEC last night. Ole Miss beating Tennessee or Florida beating Alabama?
Okay, I am going to say it is Florida beating Alabama, and I'm going to explain it this way. Yes, I'm going to explain it this way, that I'm giving Tennessee a pass. The last time we saw Tennessee, they made a miraculous win over Alabama at home with that half-court shot. Total miracle. And so I think there had to be, Mike, an emotional letdown going to play unranked Ole Miss. To me, that feels like a classic trap game situation. I'm going to go with Florida for putting 99 on Alabama at Alabama, 58 in the second half. If you think Alabama felt bad after Tennessee, they feel much worse today. This is an awful week for the coaching staff, at Alabama and the players at Alabama. And to me, Florida has put itself in consideration now, because it's fluid in the SEC, but in consideration for a 1 seed in the NCAAs.
Yeah, Tony, there's so many teams in the SEC that are in. And I find this, while I'm still being a little skeptical, it's fascinating. And it's must viewing for men's college basketball right now. Look, when I saw the scores and said, whoa, let me go to this Ole Miss game, because they got a chance to win this game. Ole Miss last night in real time was 20-9. Now, to me, they're in, but they're unranked. And they they're playing against a number 4 ranked Tennessee team.
Yep.
I'm not going to call it an enormous upset, but I was just more impressed, shall we say, with Ole Miss winning that game. Tony, I think that the SEC is going to get legitimately 11 teams in the tournament. Wow. Now, look, the Big Ten and the SEC now seems like they have 20-some schools in each conference at all. I think we have 18. I don't know if the SEC has 16 or 18. I can't keep count.
16,
but I think 11 SEC schools, to me, will have earned making it, including Ole Miss, which now has 21 wins.
Let's go.
Toss-up, more impressive number from the NBA last night. James Harden scoring 50 or 2 Celtics scoring 40-plus for the first time ever?
This is not close.
Not close.
James Harden is a high-volume scorer. 3 times he has led the NBA in scoring. 23 times prior to this, he went 50 or better. This was number 24. This is in the realm of the normal for James Harden. It is not in the realm of the normal to have 2 people score 40 points or more in the same game. The Celtics, the greatest franchise ever, they never did it. Russell and Havlicek didn't do it. Bird and McHale didn't do it. Garnett and Pierce didn't do it. And now you have it. Jason Tatum didn't do it. And Jaylen Brown didn't do it.
No.
What?
No.
What are we talking about here? Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. What?
Tony,
so that's what I'm saying.
This was one where I see the score, not the score, but the individual scoring totals, because I'm watching something else. I think I'm watching Marquette and UConn or something. And I see Peyton Pritchard has 40 And I'm like, no. This bears more investigation. Not that Peyton Pritchard, who's going to be up for sixth man of the year, is not a fine player, because he is. And Derek White has already been a fine player, one of the best players on a championship team. But you're right. James Harden. So who scored more than 50 in the history of the NBA more times than James Harden? Let's see now, off the top of my head. Wilt, Jordan, Kobe. Wilt, Jordan, and Kobe. I'm going to say that's it. That's the list.
That's the list.
I was almost going to say Allen Iverson, but no. Okay, so those three.
No.
So, no, when you see those two guys score 40, they have now done that the same number of times in the same game as teammates as Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who did it 29 years ago, and they did it once. Amazing.
It's a remarkable thing. I know people have done it, but it is remarkable whenever it happens. And a guy getting 50 who gets 50, stop. Yeah. That's it.
Yep.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Chargers say see ya to Joey Bosa.
Wow. And will the Lakers make it 8 in a row when they host the Knickerbockers tonight in Los Angeles?
I hope that's on national television.
Yeah,
I hope that's on national television somewhere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's a Thursday night, so you know where it is.
Every Laker game.
It's on with our Turner
game.
It's on our friends from Turner.
Yeah, put them on Turner or ESPN. Happy time, people. Happy 31st birthday, Marcus Smart. A couple of seasons ago, Smart was the starting point guard on the Boston Celtics and had been named Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. The Celtics traded him away to Memphis as part of the deal that brought in Kristaps Porzingis. Wilbon, at the time, you were very skeptical of the deal. You thought it was the end of the Celtics.
I was.
Well, the Celtics won the championship last year with Drew Holiday at the point. Smart was in Memphis for 1 year plus. He's now in exile in Washington. Smart and Chris Middleton arrived at the trade deadline to a young team that has no use for them. Yet the few games the Wizards have won lately are largely because of Smart and Middleton, and they will probably be gone next season.
Tony, I did. I thought that Marcus Smart was the heart and soul of the Celtics. I thought they would win several years ago, like 21 and 20. I thought they'd win, and he would be part of the reason they won. Instead, he leaves, and they win, and I feel a little bit for Marcus Smart, who nonetheless has been an important player and done the dirty work that some people don't want to do, like play defense.
Happy anniversary, Mike Tyson. We do this one a lot because we really like it. On this day 40 years ago, an 18-year-old Mike Tyson made his professional boxing debut in Albany, New York. His opponent was Hector Mercedes, who I like to say should have stayed in the car. Mercedes did not get out of the first round as Tyson, always going forward, hit him with a barrage of hooks to the body that dropped Mercedes to one knee and made a technical knockout an easy call. Wilbon, you know what I think of the early Mike Tyson, that he was perfectly suited to boxing and was both fearsome and charismatic at the same time.
Tony, he was indeed. You know, not long before that, Mike Tyson, people will say, oh, wait a minute. You had so many boxers, Floyd Patterson, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, who were in the Olympics. What about Tyson? He lost in the box office. I believe I was there for that. But not long thereafter, we saw that Tyson's greatness didn't need an Olympic stamp of approval.
Nothing like him putting his head through the towel and walking into the ring. Happy trails, Joey Bosa. The Chargers released the outside linebacker last night, freeing up more than $25 million in cap space. Bosa made the Pro Bowl 5 times during his 9 seasons with the team. His 72 sacks ranked second in team history behind Leslie O'Neal. Bosa started out so strong, winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, setting an NFL record with 19 sacks in his first 20 games. But the 29-year-old has battled injuries the past 3 seasons, playing in a little more than half of his team's 51 games. And he recently told The Athletic, quote, "There's not a lot of time left for me, probably. It's coming fast," unquote.
Tony, as a guy who's a fan of a team who needs a pass rusher, I wonder if Bosa's got anything left. That same team also has another guy who I think is going to the Hall of Fame named Khalil Mack, who was already in a Bears uniform. I want one of them. I don't know which. I don't know who has more left. I mean, does Bosa have anything? He even hints at it. Does he have anything left? And do you take a flyer? Because you can get him at a bargain basement price, I would think, at this point.
I would love to see him play with his brother. I would love to see it that way. Let's go to the big finish. Garrett Crochet of the Red Sox now struck out 7 over 3. Ooh. Yesterday's spring training start. You impressed?
Well, he's over 100. You're impressed until people's elbows fall off, and then you're not as impressed. Mavs assistant Alex Jensen will be the new head coach at the University of Utah, and Duke assistant Jai Lucas will take over at the University of Miami. Your thoughts?
I am familiar with the father of Lucas, John Lucas,
Yes,
who at
you
one
are.
point
We
was
are.
the #1 overall draft pick in the NBA.
Yes, he was.
And was apparently an All-American tennis player at the University
At
of
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yes, he was.
The Bengals gave pass rusher Trey Hendrickson permission to seek a trade. What? Are you surprised?
Well, he led the league in sacks with 17 and a half. Each of the last 2 seasons, he's had 17 and a half. But he'll give like $1 million a sack, maybe. I mean, he's worth it if you can pay and give up the chips in the trade. Interesting deal coming. Alex Ovechkin scored last night, is now 10 away from breaking Gretzky's record. Your review, sir?
It's in close. It's on a power play, which is his meat. He's going to break it this year. We've been through this. He's going to break it. Last one, Knicks and Lakers tonight. Who you got?
The Lakers have won 7 in a row. They're on a heater, as they say, staying with the Los Angeles Lakers at home.
We're out of time. We will try and do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the podcast on the Apple Podcast. Tony, the Bengals can't pay everybody. All right? Joe Burrow wants them to play every receiver they had
was their
going back to
problem.
Isaac
If
Curtis.
they got a sack guy, you pay him.
Well,
Here's Tony and Mike with PTI's bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon. Are the Lakers getting too much credit too soon since the Luka trade?
No. Look, there's some years where there's way too much talk about the Lakers, even in some recent years. But no, Tony, not now. I mean, there had to be some. It was okay to have some skepticism about whether or not they could fit and how quickly they could do it, just because you want to see 2 people actually do it, not have it on paper and talk about it. They were great. It was seamless. And maybe we should have presumed that. But 6-1, 6 of the last 7 games the Lakers have won with Luka in the lineup. And Tony, they're 19-4 going back to before the trade. So the praise starts before that. It includes, and it ought to, J.J. Redick and the things he has done both offensively and how he's worked with those 2 guys offensively, but the whole team defensively, because they're #1 in the league in that time. So no, there's not too much praise on any level for the Lakers.
So I make fun on this show of the fact that on this show we talk about the Lakers all the time. The Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Like other shows talk about the Cowboys all the time. But let me go back to this question. Are they getting too much praise too soon? 100% no. Absolutely no. Back to your number. 19-4. So it started before the trade. In the last 7 games that they have won in a row, Luka has played in 6 of those 7. In those 6 of 7, LeBron has shot over 50% from the field.
Yeah.
So the presumption in this question is you want me to wait for their schedule to strangle them. You want me to wait for them to lose a few games and back away from them. No, they are, to this point, they deserve all the praise that they're getting. To this point. This is a here and now business. And here and now, they're really good.
And Tony, while the trade, yes, the question has to be put in the context of the Luka trade, but it's LeBron James still. The whose team is it? I heard Perk say he would vote LeBron third, and I know Perk has a vote in MVP voting this year. And I start thinking, wait a minute, what about? And then I go, no, Perk's right. The SGA and Joker and SGA, those are your 2. And then LeBron James at 40 years old is one of the 3 best players in the league, and there's no doubt about it. It's clear cut, and he's doing it every night. So no, not too much praise. That's it. We're done. Back to you.